Hey, it's Arlesha. I'm a purpose-driven mover and shaker who embarked on a sabbatical for the first time in my career. Welcome to my first podcast. This season, I'm talking about what it means to be on sabbatical, to recharge your life, career, and purpose. Throughout each episode, I'll share gems and insights experienced from my first sabbatical journey in the hopes it'll inspire you to harmonize your life and ambitions. Let's get into it. What do you do all day? That was the exclamatory question I'd get from friends and peers when I shared the exciting update about taking a sabbatical. What do I do all day? I'll get to that in just a second. We are on episode 4 of the inaugural season of Hey, It's Arlesha podcast. If you don't already know, for season 1, I'm talking all things sabbatical. I do want to offer up a quick disclaimer. I know some folks may be wondering if the gems and insights I'm sharing are only for those who are intending to take long breaks from the office and work. The answer to that is no. Hopefully, you'll find the gems useful and actionable for that week you're going to take off for a trip up to Martha's Vineyard this summer, or your time off requested to catch up on your spring cleaning, your home projects, your kitchen renovation. I love the sound of all of that, by the way. So back to the question of, what do you do all day? My response is everything and nothing, but also anything. Everything and nothing, but also anything. Frankly, it depends on the day, the week, the mood. Now, the start of sabbatical for me was a ton of relaxation and lounging. Actually, my summer started off in that tone, and I simply transfer that same energy over to sabbatical. We're talking spa days, reading books on the beach, dining at my favorite restaurants, a quick weekend trip, like going up to New York for a Broadway show and coming right back home. And yes, trips to Europe, the Caribbean, fun relaxation. And then I had those days of just white space. That is, lots of blank space in between structured time of leisure and enjoyment and some busyness because, hey, adulting never stops. Adulting does not care that you are on sabbatical. I spent my white spaces turning my brain off, thinking of nothing, doing nothing, and perhaps allowing myself to enjoy some binge watching, like Real Housewives and Love is Blind, of course. A little couch potato action here, a book or two read there on my brand new couch. I fill the white space up with guilty pleasures and all the things that are allowed when you want to let your hair down. But I want to tell you about the first thing I did before embarking on sabbatical. I wrote what I called an intentions list. This entailed everything that I intended and hoped to achieve during the time off. I had an intentions list for matters pertaining to fitness and health, hobbies, travel, of course, my home, friends and family, the books I'd read or reread. They were the activities that would keep my mind sharpened and challenged. They entailed the habits that I'd been looking to build until I became the very thing the habit would help to build. I was also very strict with my intentions. I determined that if I had not accomplished or achieved certain activities, then it wasn't a sabbatical unless I did those things. A little bit of pressure is good, right? So I made sure to apply some pressure. I wasn't so structured to start, but soon things would become structured. It took a couple of months for me to identify the pattern, but I realized that as weeks passed on, there was a certain rhythm and flow I was operating within. As it turns out, I realized that I was productively hitting the goals on my intentions list for a strong 3 weeks in a month. And then I'd have 1 week operating as a couch potato, or simply moving a bit more spontaneously. It was 3 weeks on, 1 week off. So I've dubbed this the 3-1 intention method. It was 3 weeks of tapping into discipline to execute my intentions, and 1 week of a free flow, spontaneously getting into activities I didn't include on my intentions list, while still keeping my time productive and purposeful. The 1 week of free flow is just as purposeful as, say, the time you'd spend planning your trip itinerary or researching the various recipe renditions to perfect your mom's lasagna recipe. I also realized that the best ideas would come up during that 1 week of free flow. In fact, the idea for this podcast occurred during my free flow week. There's something freeing about shutting your brain off and seeing what comes to you. The 3-1 intention method is perfect for a micro sabbatical. There can be a discipline that comes with time off. What do you want to achieve? What are the steps you'll take to make it happen? What structure will you put in place to ensure that even your leisure has purpose? Because even a time of leisure can be purposeful and productive for you. During that intentional 3-1 period, you can initiate and incorporate discipline and habit building into your time of rest and break. During the 1 period, this is where I maximize softness, a soft life, as they call it, turning my brain off and giving into my heart's desires, even if that desire is doing absolutely nada. Some weeks, softness bleeds into my intentional 3 period, and that's okay too. That's the benefit of being on sabbatical. You can go with the flow. In a sabbatical, the 3-1 method provides a framework for discipline during your time on break. I'll also offer this advice up. Avoid being too structured and rigid during a time of break. Find opportunities to go with the flow more often than not. A sabbatical is a time to step outside of your comfort zone, and if you were to be too structured with it, you'd only structure in things of comfort anyway. In later episodes, I'll share how I leaned into the practice of free flow to receive some of the greatest experiences and lessons while on break. If you like today's episode, feel free to download and be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on new episodes from this season and future installments of Hey, It's Arlesha. For more in-depth insights and gems, subscribe to my blog counterpart of this podcast. There, I'll be diving in a bit more on the 3-1 intention method. You can use this for your paid time off or the micro sabbatical you'll plan. The link can be found in the description below. Be sure to subscribe so that you don't miss out. Until next time, I am sincerely yours, Arlesha.